Welcome back, guys, to the World Championship Series Europe Premier League,
where we're about to have the winners match. Welmu versus Stephano, Colaris. We are seconds away from this about to begin here. I'm quite excited for this one. We're about to see Stephano show his Swarm Host pain, not only versus Zerg, but versus Protoss as well.
That's true, that's true. Stephano having advanced now into this winners game. Good luck to him going up against a very formidable opponent in Welmu, who currently in the WCS system is very good in this matchup. He's something like 10-4 across the entire WCS system, and it's his best matchup across WCS. So Welmu has shown time and time again that he's very good in this matchup. We've seen a lot of timing, attack-orientated kind of plays come out from him, but he hasn't shied away from the late game either.
Yeah, Welmu can play a variety of styles here, and I think that he's most likely going to try and break Stephano down, like Nurcio, a little bit sooner rather than later, because if you do allow Stephano to get to where he wants to be, he is rather difficult to stop, let's just put it that way. And it can be a very painful process, unless Welmu is very confident in going up against Swarmos in the mid-game to the late game, which requires a lot of Warp Prism play, good Colossus and Force Field play, and just being able to get the right composition as the game goes on, eventually ending up towards a decent air superiority and so on and so on. If he doesn't, then he's going to have to try and end it fast, because we know what Stephano's probably going to do.
I mean, we've seen players like, actually, now that I think about it, Todd, for example, in Challenger League, show good styles of maneuverability to deal with Swarm Hosts in the later stages of this particular matchup. And whilst Welmu can do something like that, and I wouldn't put him past him if he could, kind of compete, I think, with Welmu's timing, attack-orientated style that we've seen in the past, even faking thirds and then just still moving out on maps like Heavy Rain, for example, he can be a very, very deadly customer indeed.
There's a lot of types of, or there's one specific type of play that we see from Protoss players a lot against Zerg, is the feint of the third, where they do build the third, they add gateways onto the third, and sometimes even a cannon, but still remain at 47 supply. So basically they spend about 550 minerals, which is the Nexus and the cannon, for the fake out, to then just have the gateways there, which are a part of their attack anyway, to then come and hit you. So it can be a fake out, it can come with blink, it can be just 1-1 upgrades, it can be +2, it can be all sorts. So there's a lot of these types of attacks that really hit you in the gut in the mid part of the game before you're ready, because that's usually the part of the game where Zerg is like, all right, is he attacking me? No. Okay, let me build up my economy and get my infrastructure going. All of a sudden, they're getting hit and they're dying. So that's a strategy we see a lot of Korean players use in Pro League and within GSL, something Welmu can definitely use himself. But one thing I've noticed from Welmu is he's not afraid of using immortal pushes a lot. Even on maps where you think that they wouldn't work as well, such as Altazim Stronghold, which is a map which is the largest one we really have, or one of the larger ones. And he uses it on that map because even though it's unlikely to be seen, it's also more difficult for Zerg to see it coming. So there's a lot of different strategies that Welmu can approach Stephano here, but which ones are going to get him the wins is the most important part.
It's true. And Overgrowth is our first map here. Now, I mean, in terms of like my experiences on ladder with the new maps and stuff like that, I'm feeling that Zerg has, a good time on the new maps. I think that Zerg does all right on these new maps. How do you feel about, things like Overgrowth and Merry-Go-Round, etc. going?
Zerg seems to be having a pretty decent time when it comes to just playing on the ladder. But when we look at the tournament results, we haven't really seen enough tournaments to be able to judge it properly. But so far, Zergs are having a pretty decent time. But Stephano is not just a Zerg. He's a special kind. He plays his own style, and he really does play his own style, echoed by a couple of other players within the European scene, Firecake, Snoot. But Stephano is the player that, used this from the beginning. Like in the highlight video that we showed earlier today, we saw Swarm Hosts, Corruptor, Viper then. This was a year ago when he was still playing in WCS in Season 1 and Season 2. So he's been using this for a long time. He's got... Him and Naniwa share this same characteristic with each other, which is more so within them than anybody else I've seen play outside of Korea, is their ability to be able to control an army that has multiple different spells and abilities all at the same time and make it just seamless. Stephano can do that.
Flows.
It flows perfectly. The the abducts, the blinding clouds, the way that he moves around with his swarm host and also moves around with his rest of his army, it flows together. Naniwa, I would say more so than Stephano, is better than that. When Naniwa was in his prime towards the BlizzCon era, or before that as well, was absolutely nailing fights. Like, he would go into a fight and would have to hit everything at 100%, and he would do it. And it was mind-blowing, the things he could pull off. And I definitely think that Stephano is like that. Very similar with his Swarm Host play.
Yeah. You're coming back to Naniwa. I mean, I can remember engagements where you've got the time warps go down, the force fields go down, the storms in exactly the right positions as well. You're right. It's very, very strong play. And Stephano is able to do that as well. If you watch his stream, for example, like I think. A long time ago when I was watching his stream, the way he just controlled his units, just around the map, fantastic, etc. I mean, we even saw it just before. I mean, it's a very small thing, but when there was those 2 Zerglings versus 2 Zerglings for Stephano and Nuccio,
won the pistol war.
He got it. Like, you kill a Zergling more and save a Zergling. That was against Nuccio, of all things, in ZVZ. Jeez.
It's time. Overgrowth, first map here. Are we going to see Stephano cut this map in half, which is very, very easily doable here. This is definitely a good map to get your 3 bases on, to start to move towards the goal base, and then you just need to defend a flank. The rest is covered, and then you could start to cut the map in half. And if you cut the map in half, and you hold the halfway line as a Swarm Host player with all your static defense, your Swarm Host and stuff, the goal base is not going to be able to be mined from. And then, of course, you can flank around to the back base. This can be very difficult for Protoss players here, I think, especially against this style. Or, I guess, any map can be difficult against Stephano's Swarm Host style. This one more so. We'll see how this is going to play out, though. We could see Welmu try to finish it fast.
Yeah, and if he doesn't, and if he does go to that kind of split map scenario, it's going to be all to be about the Warp Prisms, really. But Stephano's played enough Wings of Liberty and Broodlord Infestor styles to know that static defense in the main base, etc., is very, very important against a Protoss player that's looking to go for those kind of Warp Prism plays. So we're going to be getting into this in just a little bit. The winner of this advances on to the round of 16. So we will definitely be seeing either Welmu or Stephano at the live shows.
It's a tale of new and old if you think about it when it comes to results within the WCS. Stephano is the original finalist. He's the only finalist in WCS. Welmu's the player who's been putting up results. 5th and 6th place last year, top 8 already this year. 2 contenders in a new era.
Yeah. All right, let's get into it. Game number 1 between Welmu and Stephano to find out who moves through in first place here on Overgrowth for our first game. As we have spawning down to the bottom left-hand corner are Blue Zerg. Representing Evil Geniuses, it is Stephano. And up to the top right-hand corner as our Red Protoss. Representing Neurosoft, it's Welmu.
Okie dokie. So, I think it really comes down to more so than what Stephano's going to do, but what is Welmu going to use as his base strategy to be able to try and find his way into the top 16 here within the WCS? He's first of all put his pilot inside his main base here, which first would tell us that he's looking at a gateway expansion rather than trying to claim a fast second base, which does offer potential faster aggression. Obviously, if you get the gateway down much sooner. But actually, looking, he's queuing up probes. He's queuing up probes here, and I think he may be looking at a greedy opening, which could be going for the Nexus first anyway, without a wall, into the gateway inside his main base, so he gets the best of both worlds, really. He gets his fast economy down with a good Nexus, but also gets the tech from the gateway down pretty fast. But he ignores the forge in a wall, which is the safety guard, the safeguard of a regular fast expansion play.
Yeah, very, very greedy here to start things off. But likewise, Stephano also very greedy himself, going for that hatchery first. Now, he does see that probe already moving out into the middle as that gateway gets planted for Welmu. So your prediction of this kind of greed is right on the money. And in the end, you know, if we think about how Stephano really made his mark on the StarCraft scene, a lot of that, I feel, was in this matchup. Yeah. A lot of that was him saying, actually, I just don't lose to Protoss, like, ever. It was a while ago, but he's still so strong in the matchup, is the scary thing. He never really had a lull in this matchup at all, I feel.
This has definitely been Stephano's matchup over the entire period of his career. It's where he probably won the most of his money on. The big difference is the way that he approaches it is incredibly different nowadays. Yeah. He no longer tries to play a fast-paced, aggressive style, which we see from players like Jaedong in today's time. He plays a slower, more methodical, strategic, slower game, just overall much, much slower. He plays with the Swarmos. He tries to cut the map in half or look for tactical advantages rather than trying to outplay in a different way.
And for now, Welmu behind all of this is just playing out a standard game. Again, getting that Zealot now cranked out to the front of this base so that he can eventually use that in some kind of form of a wall off, because he's got to be careful.
Yeah,
he knows that his opponent has gas, right?
Yeah.
So you got to be a little bit wary of that.
If he wasn't to build a wall off with the next pylon, he's going to start to put himself in a bit of trouble, because of course the circling speed completes and when zerglings rush in, the game can end there and there. So the probe actually manages to sneak in again, and he's going to look exactly on the gas. He sees that only zergling speed is on its way and no further drones are in the assimilator, or sorry, extractor, which means there's no super early rush, which means he doesn't need to worry about being super defensive. No forge needs to be rushed down right now. No immediate wall needs to be constructed. He knows that zergling speed is a threat, definitely, and he also knows with zergling speed being a threat to his own 2 bases, it's a threat for any potential aggression Welmu could do himself. How is he meant to get a probe out on the field when there's zerglings with speed running around absolutely everywhere, hunting anything down?
A little bit of an odd start to this wall-off, not something I see too commonly, with 2 pylons here. So eventually, this wall-off will continue, but there is a little bit of vulnerability there. Maybe for later on. Zergling's not really going to do a whole lot. He's trying to run in and see what he can find out. Force field, maybe?
He's going to get in there.
Okay, so no force field.
So he goes in and doesn't really see too much. And what he will see is that this is only gateway expansion, and he also saw gateways being added on. He sees Chrono Boost in the Nexus, or did just see it in the Nexus. With Zergling Speed now, there's Warp Gate's not ready, first of all. There's no Warp Gate research being Chrono Boosted out, and he's seen additional gateways on the front wall here. He knows he's in no threat at this moment. He's fine. He knows he doesn't need to worry about anything. Forge comes down, which will be for the +1 attack for his unit soon. From what it looks like, Welmu seems to be aiming towards a 3rd base.
Yeah, I mean, there's no real kind of moves towards any tech whatsoever. Robo will be a little bit late for him to really kind of power that out. And how many probes does he have? He's at 41 at this point. So, wow, actually 41 probes against 41 drones. Wait, 3 overlords in production. I was going to say, if he would go crazy with some roach play or something, that would be...
No, he's just stacking up to layer. And, he's going to drone probably quite heavily towards his 3rd. You can start to imagine, especially with the Zealot and the Mothership Core movement here towards a 3rd, that this is going to be taken soon. Stephano, ideally, with his Link, should be looking at that 3rd all the time. I don't know why they're in the middle of the map right now. He should be seeing, is that planted down, yes or no? If yes, more drones, let's go. If no, then what are you doing? Hence those 3 roaches being made. He wouldn't have had to build them if the Lings were already on the 3rd base position right now. Now he sees it. We'll probably see more drones come in. There's no reason for him... Oh, actually, he's going to have more roaches. He's going to try and break this down. This is a different way to approach this usually. Usually see Zergs try to drone up more and get away with droning up heavily. He may try to break this down this 3rd.
This is Stephano of old.
Yeah, this is Stephano of old, absolutely.
Quite ambitious.
More Links coming in.
Uh-oh. All right, well, Carapace gets added on as well during all of this. He makes 1 drone, a 2nd evolution chamber, so he's going to add on the extra upgrades. I guess it's just a little bit of pressure, but 4 overlords to... Oh, no, okay, it goes straight back into the droning. He's
going to put pressure on. He's got 8 roaches and a couple of Lings. That can kill Zealot sentries quite easily, but that's a lot of sentries.
Yeah.
And also look at the probe count, 46. It's going to be what I mentioned. That 3rd's a fake.
Yeah.
At the moment, it seems like it's a fake. The 2 probes being built are not necessary in this game. He's going to attack, especially with that sentry count.
Yeah, it's going to seal off a lot of this. It's going to have to be Stalkers behind it primarily, though, so that he can utilize the damage as effectively as possible. But if he sees all of those... He sees them all. He catches some of the roaches, yeah, but it's only 3 for the value of seeing all of those sentries.
Yeah, this is something which is very common right now, this kind of strategy from Welmu. He should be looking to attack. Absolutely should be looking to attack.
Enduring Locust starts with a Swarm Host as well. If he actually got some Swarm Hosts out somehow, some way, there's no detection here, but this hits a little bit quicker than that.
There's a pylon on the right-hand side, a pixel away from the Zergling.
Oh, poor little guy.
Stephano doesn't know exactly what's going on still. He's building units because he doesn't know what's going on. He now sees the army on the right-hand side, sees all those sentries.
Yeah, you got to be careful. Got to be so careful now. The static defense is going to get torn down before it can really do a whole lot. And that is so much firepower. Not only that, but so much space control as well. Perfect force field, seal that off. And this is gonna have to be forfeit this third
You
base.
can kill this third and recall out here.
Yeah.
But you can keep going, but the Swarmos, I think, are going to be very difficult to stop, obviously, with no detection.
It's too much of a timer. You can't stick around for so long.
Yeah, kill as much as you can.
And then get out. Well, he's going to kill off quite a few drones, just a sprinkling, about 6. And he did actually have some probes heading over to that third, so if he does recall with the Robo Bay...
No, he's more than fine to recall. Kill the hatch and get out. Maximize the damage output of these units. He does put the time warp down, which stops him from being able to recall here. He may just continue on for the finish.
He got one Swarm Host there, and one slight Stalker shot just at the very end, but now with Enduring Locusts finished, you can't stick around. You just cannot. But again, good crippling of the economy from Welmu, and it's kind of similar to how we saw Nurchio playing against this at the beginning, just in a different matchup.
That seems to be the key to beating Stephano, or at least attempting to beat Stephano, is hit him before he gets in the zone, and then ride an advantage to then later kill him off.
And now the Warp Prism's on the way. And this is the exact way Protoss is normally dealing with this Swarm Host play. Just drop in the main, do what you can, just hit alternate angles.
If Welmu is able to put pressure on and just keep pressure on this third base, and then the Warp Prism swings around to the main, that's an attack which is going to be very difficult to stop for Stephano in this position. Nurchio now is probed up to the right amount for 3 bases. At this point, he's like 65 probes. He also is adding on the Robotics Bay. He goes up to Colossus soon.
He could deny this again. He could easily deny this again with the amount of space control he has with these force fields. This number of sentries early on is really working out for him so nicely.
And here comes the Warp Prism. Keep the pressure on Stephano's right-hand side flank. Drop inside the main base. Big move from Welmu. And this may cause a GG.
Yeah, it may do. He's playing this out brilliantly.
Yeah. Stephano sees the warp in his zealots and is like, oh, all right, Welmu, Mr. I finished top 8 in Season 1 2014.
Look at you.
Look at you with the Warp Prism inside the main base. Ooh, all right, fine, take map number 1.
And it looks like he may end up doing very quickly more force fields, denial of the third, doing damage in the main. Even if he's killing off Lings, any damage he does is great. The Warp Prism dies, which is not exactly in Welmu's plans.
No.
But still.
But the thing is, he can come down again with +2 attack and Colossus. Unless Vipers are out by that time, it's going to be very difficult to stop them, especially with the Observers being out. Welmu's in a lead. He's found himself in a very good position right now. And if he was to lose the game from this point on, I guarantee you, he's going to be rolling those R's, and he's going to be fisting that desk.
Yes, he is. He's going to be very, very unhappy with that position, that's for sure. These Lings actually find the base up to the top left-hand corner, though, which is a nice little pickup for Stephano.
Something, right?
It's something. It's something, that's for sure. All right. Oh, even some nice little force fields to keep those guys in. Maybe he gets Sentry. No, he does not.
Look at that. Pylon still on the right-hand side, though, and Zealots towards the third once again.
Yeah. It's a really good play from Welmu here so far. Really strong play.
Stephano's a guy who, you know, as one little kid said, never say never. And Stephano is definitely that player in StarCraft.
Yes, he is. He is. Oh, wow, a fleet beacon. Hey up. I wasn't expecting that, I'll be honest with you.
Well, Welmu is in a very strong position. He can do whatever he wants.
He's playing with his food.
He could throw down a second 7-minute core. He could throw down a second Twilight Council. I'm not going to blame him.
He could throw a third one down if he really wants.
If he wants to.
Fourth, whatever.
But
go
Stephano
wild.
is going to try and find a way back in this game as he tries. He's not just going to you know, stop and quit out the game. He's going to play it out because he knows if I can get to that army, I can win.
Yeah.
That is Stephano's 2014 philosophy of how to play StarCraft 2. If I can build that army, I can win. So he's never going to stop until he's actually kicked out the game.
And this is all right as well. He gets himself a few probes up here, actually extending his lead in terms of the probe kills. Wow, he got a lot at this third base.
Yeah, I definitely would love to see a Dark Shrine at this point.
Yeah.
Increase the level of harassment that Welmu has to really get under Stephano's belt. He does have an Overseer inside the main base, which would stop that. But Stephano's now at 2-2. He's back on 3 bases.
Look at this. I didn't expect this kind of delayed Oracle to come in and get a few kills, but there he goes. And even gets out as well. Oh, close. No, why did he let that die?
The Swarm House count is rising. He's getting his static D up. Welmu's on 4 base versus 3, but Stephano's now got the money he needs to build his Swarm Hosts.
It's as if Welmu is playing this out vastly slower than he ever needed to. Because it wasn't that...
Well, losing the Warp Prism inside the main base stopped a lot of his speed in this game, which
Yeah.
wasn't meant to happen.
This
He was meant to
extra
keep that alive.
Yeah, you're right. You're right. Because he could have just kept going, right?
No, he could have kept warping in there while keeping the pressure on the third base, but then it was just one-dimensional for Stephano to defend him, which obviously made it easier for Stephano to start to stabilize himself. But he's got the Locust in great position, can swing the waypoints left and right to defend whatever angle that Welmu takes.
That's ugly. That's ugly. Don't lose sentries. Ugh. Well, okay. The force fields weren't the prettiest either, but he kills off the Locust where he needs to. It's not really a victory, but it'll do.
So now Stephano, like against Nurcho, is finding himself crawling back into this game. And I know that Welmu's going to be a little bit angry, like I mentioned before, to even allow this to happen. He's still in the lead in this game, and he's got a nice move with these Stalkers.
Yeah. And bottling this up on the ramp would be nice as well. He actually positions them instinctively so those Zerglings can't flood on forwards and get in there. But they're still taking a lot of damage. They don't have that great armor upgrades, only +1. So those Lings and Queens are doing all right.
Yeah, Zealot warping to the right-hand side now, but the harassment is starting to be less and less efficient here. He's throwing units away almost because Stephano's locked down these 3 bases. And what we'll see from Stephano is start to build the army, but also start to crawl towards his 4th base, which will probably be the gold. And then start to... Oh, okay, he's taking the 4th base down here. Whatever it is, wherever the 4th base is, he's going to start to cut the map in half with his next big move. We do see Tempest being built in this game and pretty decent air upgrades already. Stephano on 3 bases can build a Swarm Host army, but he cannot build the correct amount of anti-air yet. He will start to be able to do soon because he stopped building Swarm Hosts, which means he's starting to bank a lot of money. But we do see Welmu building that air superiority a little bit faster than Stephano can.
And that mothership actually being morphed in a whole lot quicker than I was expecting in this game, but it provides such great potential against Swarm Hosts. If you can deny the Locust from me being able to even see your army, the Overseers are going to have a hard time getting close because the Tempests are in there. So it's a good composition here for Welmu.
And one important move from Stephano is a changeling inside the main base, which has spotted the air move, which therefore has been able to he's been able to react by throwing down double Spire here. But think about the upgrades and think about how late the Spires were in addition to this game because of the way that it's played out with Stephano trailing for the majority of it. Somehow Warp Prism's found its way in. I don't know how that got its way in there, but
it's gone now.
Unfortunately, not that efficient with 3 upgrades on these Lings already.
Yeah. Did they get Adrenal Glands ever?
This is a very dangerous move from Welmu. Without the Mothership Core there, he can pick the Force off, but if Stephano comes from the high point of this, a little bit further north...
In fact, the Colossi are running away because they know the threat's there.
Yeah, he's going to sack the Sentries and Stalkers to stop the 4th. Or at least...
Colossi are going to die to Lings. No! This is the saddest sight in all of StarCraft.
Yeah, this is awkward.
Okay, they got him. Well, okay, 1 died. Actually, you could get the Vipers. Okay, this is weird.
Okay, yeah.
You got away.
Get over here.
It's still weird. It's still weird. Run away. Sick force field. All right, I'm done. I'm done.
All right. The Tempest fleet is upon us.
Oh, okay, that's a lot of Tempest.
That is a lot of Tempest. And what's great with Tempest, Glarus?
A mothership?
Void Rays.
Oh, okay, you could do Void Rays too, yeah.
Void Rays, because what the Tempest will rule the skies, and if you think about what stops Tempests, ideally, is Corruptors, which do pretty good against large units like these.
Yeah.
But with a mix of Void Rays in this as well, will probably be the next unit which Welmu would like to add on. Unless he just maxes out with Tempest and then goes with the army he has, which is fine as well, because of course Stalkers on the low ground do help out. And the Tempests have such good upgrades, maybe they can just take on the Corruptors anyway. But Welmu's got this very strong army. Here come the Void Rays, actually. Just 1 being added on. He's a little bit low in terms of potential supply that he can use. Maybe he wants to get rid of some sentries or something.
This Dark Shrine could have been a bit earlier per your kind of a suggestion as well to make it a bit
nice
more
to get it, especially when you're on 4 bases so fast. And remember, that's the way that Welmu's able to, or anyone's able to play against Stephano, is you're a lot more free to expand than you would against a more traditional Zerg. So you have a lot more money to spend and play around with, hence the Tempest fleet already in this game, and especially with the upgrades they have.
The thing is, though, the way in which Welmu's played this, you know, he got the 3rd denial and then just pulled straight back and was like, right, I know my game plan for the whole time, right? So just going up this Tempest... We've seen this Tempest army in stuff like Pro League, and it's so difficult to deal with for a Zerg.
You can almost... I mean, you need the correct Abducts from the Vipers, and you also need a very heavy Corruptor count, which Stephano really doesn't have.
It's going to be difficult to deal with the Void Rays being added on as well, as you were mentioning.
Lings on the right-hand side. Okay, there is an ability to warp in there. I think he may have killed a Colossus. Yeah, he had 2 Colossus. He only got 1 now. I think he killed a Colossus to be able to warp in units there. He was maxed out.
Oh, he killed his own Colossus, you mean?
Yes.
Ah, I didn't notice that. But look at this, 4 of those were Dark Templars. There's no detection on this right-hand side. This Spore Crawler has to move. Oh, okay, he just morphed in Nova CS. That's good.
Despite Stephano being on 3 bases all game, he's still able to bank quite a bit of money.
Yeah.
But his main base is mined out, so is his natural, and he's only mining from 1 base, is that 3rd. Ideally, Welmu would want to keep Stephano away from a new mining base, which is the base in the bottom right.
There's 12 Corruptors out to deal with this huge Tempest fleet that's moving out with 5 Void Rays on the way at any time.
He can't warp in. He's maxed out again. He can't warp into this base. The same problem he had earlier.
A few Abducts here, get some of these Tempests, bring those down out of the skies, but at the same time, the Tempest from the back are shelling away at this. Ling's on this 5th base, trying to pull that down with a few Warp-ins. There's no Overseer there, so the Dark Templar should be able to clean that up.
Yeah. Not before the Nexus dies, though.
Yeah,
he needs those Void Rays with the army, by the way. It'd make his life just a lot easier.
Yeah, once those 5 extra pop out. And there they are now. They're going to be on their way very very quickly. He's rallying over there as fast as he possibly can do. The Tempest still doing a good job, though, holding on against this. There's still only 6 Corruptors. He really doesn't have that much gas to... well, okay, he does have a lot of gas, but the gas to mineral ratio doesn't really help him out getting more Corruptors out too easily. And
he's got to the most important part of this game, which is the bottom right base.
Yeah. If he can deny this, then he's just going to put a stranglehold on Stephano.
Yeah.
And there come the Void Rays now to help out this.
The air is not going to be beaten, really, is it?
No.
I mean, he can't get close enough. He doesn't have a high enough unit count. There's Void Rays, there's great upgrades. He's just got everything he needs while defending with the right amount of DTs on these bases. Welmu was able to maintain that advantage, whether it be a large one or small one, is up to you, how you want to, kind of portray this game. But he was able to maintain that advantage, through that advantage into this air army, and it's just unanswered for.
And this position is absolutely brutal.
Yeah. Even an Oracle comes flying in. That's
Oh, bye-bye, Hatchery.
Sprinkle your magic fairy dust, Oracle, and give these units some sight range.
They will have Farsight. You're right. That's going to kill off this army pretty quickly. The thing is, Stephano...
Where are the Sorvos going?
He's off, man. I
think Stephano's realized he can't stop this air army.
Did he just recall? He did, didn't he?
Yeah.
Okay.
Well played.
Well played.
GG. Woo! Welmu takes game number 1 against Stephano. And... I mean, Stephano's going to look at that game and say, I shouldn't have lost my 3rd in the first place. That put me in a position which was very difficult to play from.
Yeah.
And Welmu eventually was able to execute.
Yeah, a good overwhelming style there from Welmu in the end. It's so funny, actually, now looking at the score screen, because Welmu is, like, 2nd on everything. But still, Stephano... Wait, that doesn't even look right. There's something up with that. But anyway, so... Now, Welmu currently 1 game up. We're going to go to King Sejong Station for our next map.
Which is a very good Swarmhost map. Yeah. I think the first Korean to use Swarmhost efficiently on this map was Rogue, who is definitely one of my favorites. Mm-hmm. He played it really well on this map because, very similar to that previous map, if you're able to get into a good position in the later stages of the game, you can cut the map in half again. Which means you have your own bases to yourself, but then you can contest the ones in the middle away from the Protoss player, who would eventually need to start coming towards the middle of the map. Protoss players on this map have 3 bases that they can absolutely have. The 4th base, there's 1 on the left flank, there's 1 in the middle, and there's 1 on the right flank. Whichever one the Protoss chooses will be contested.
Oh, yeah.
Absolutely, every single time by a good Swarmhost player, if he can get to the mid part or late part on an equal basis.
Yeah, whereas on Overgrowth, for example, that 4th base is a little bit easier for Welmu to claim, as we saw in that game, but of course it was playing from a bit more of an advantageous position.
Is the difficult one on that map.
And we saw it even contested highly there in a game where Stephano was kind of on the back foot. So here on King Sejong Station, I think that Welmu maybe gets like a little bit more aggressive in terms of how he plays it out. Like he could happily hit some kind of 2-base play here, but with the intent to kill, not the intent to just push back.
Yeah, there is on the inside the natural, if you've played this map or seen this map, there is the rocks, which give a second access to the natural. A Protoss player can definitely use that to his advantage, break the rocks down, and if he can get on the high ground, or even half on the high ground, just a couple of units up there, if he can use the hatchery against the Zerg player and use force fields in a line, like we saw in that previous map, on this map, it's definitely another good strategy to try to pull off.
It's very breakable. Very, very breakable. I mean, with the way the force fields work on that third base on the previous map on Overgrowth, it's like even a tighter a choke on King Sage on Station at the natural. So
yes, it is.
Got to be careful. Got to be very, very careful. Force field strong here as we load up onto game number 2. Welmu currently leading 1-0. And, you know, as a lot of people predicted, Welmu in this position right now, he just needs one more map to close it out.
Yeah, I mean, I'd be very, very surprised if Welmu wasn't able to get a top 2 finish in today's group. Very surprised.
He's looking good. And to be fair to Welmu, like, as of recent form, you know, in the past, like, I would say half a year to even a year, he's always kind of looked good. There's never really been too much of a disappointing performance by Welmu. But now, guys, let's jump in to game number 2 on King Sage on Station to find out if Welmu can take it to 0 or if Stephano can tie it at 1-1. Let's get right on into it. Spawning up to the top left-hand corner as our blue Zerg representing evil geniuses, it is Stephano. And down to the bottom right-hand corner, our red Protoss representing Neurosoft, it's Welmu.
Welmu, the second highest ranked non-Korean within the WCS global ranking so far. Snoot is number 1, and Welmu is number 2 so far, which is pretty good. It's a very good standing so far for him. Snoot's currently ranked 19. Welmu not too far behind, 23.
Yeah.
Very close to that top 16 mark. Snoot, being 3 ranks away, is only 75 points from being top 5. It's that close right now, around the top 16. And if you think about the Premier League, the difference between just a 3rd and 4th place finish is 50 points. 75 points for Snoot getting in. If you think about the difference between rounds, round of 32 and round of 16, 100 points. You already break that 75 points. So it's really big. If Snoot advances in tomorrow's groups, he finds himself top 16.
And that's a big deal, considering how many international tournaments we see a player like Snoot participating in as well. The ability to accrue more points there too. Snoot has a legitimate shot. I mean, we've gone off on a slight tangent here compared to what we're talking about in this game, but Snoot, hey, it's looking good, man. It's looking good. Yeah.
Same build again from Welmu. Pylon inside the main base Nexus, then Gateway. A very economic build, but also, as mentioned before, enables him to open his tech tree much earlier than if he was trying to play this a little bit safer. This definitely could be exploited if this was to make it to game number 3. I don't think Stephano would allow him to do that 3 games in a row. Definitely something to keep at the back of your mind. But we do see the hatchery first, then spawn and pull, followed by a gas. Not too far behind for Stephano.
And then behind all of this for Welmu, 2 gases go down, so he can just tech up in any which hole route he wants to. Whilst establishing himself well on this map. So again, there are a few wall impossibilities here for Protoss. I'm guessing you favor the one that walls you off to the point where you're just walling off at with the little zealot in here?
No, I don't wall off there. I wall off in the fronter.
You like the full one?
Yeah, there. I haven't walled off with the assimilator. I've never walled off with the assimilator, actually.
I've walled off with the assimilator, and it works out okay, but it does leave you a little bit, like, vulnerable in the end, because you have no opportunity to, like, wall off again behind it because the ramp is right there, you know? So.
I think you'd also give high ground away, too.
Yeah, you can do that. It's a little bit fraught with danger. So you got to be careful. You do have to be careful. And, well, for now, we just have those 2 queens on the way for Stephano, so no big differences. Unfortunately for Welmu, though, he can't really get in and see, you know, the gas timing fully as to what's going on.
No. He just kind of knows that it's most likely just going to be Zergling speed. If you think about the distances, the walking distance for Stephano, if he was to be aggressive, is quite far to do. So it would be very hard for him to do a roach attack or anything like a Baneling Bust or something. A lot more difficult than it would do on a different one. So less likely to happen here.
Speed's on the way. Not really a whole lot of difference here whilst Welmu gets himself that good old wall off at the front. And from here on out, I'm curious to see what Welmu's going to do. I really do feel something like a bit of a, you know, like a 2-base push. Really trying to punish him.
He may try the same again. Very similar style. It almost is a 2-base push, just with a fake Nexus. Or It's not really... Well, it is and it isn't a fake Nexus because it's going to be used after, depending on the success rate and so on. Yeah, we'll see. He's got 1 gateway, and he's adding on sentries already, which is going to increase that sentry count as mentioned. There's the 2nd and 3rd gateway. So he's definitely starting to climb his unit count already.
Yeah, the probe's lingering. So there's a forge of all things, and the Overlord does see this. So Stephano has a lot of intel as to what's going on right now.
He knows this is 3 gateways, and there's the forge. He knows exactly everything. Even sees Chrono Boost going into the main Nexus, by the way. So he sees everything at the moment. He sees the Nexus on the natural too. There's nothing Stephano doesn't see at this point.
Yeah, and he's going to have to kind of fish out this higher sentry count, because if it keeps increasing, then we all know the potential of what can happen there. Chrono Boost into Cybernetics Core, I think that's more of a fake than anything, because there's no probe moving out to the map to like go for something aggressive.
No, but he may want to get Warp Gate down a little bit faster instead of trying to build another unit after this one pops or something. Something like that.
That's true, it lines up nicer.
To then try and take his 3rd base shortly. Stephano's going double Evolution Chamber and Roach Warren, and he knows what build he's playing against, so he knows that he's not about to be attacked. If you're going to be attacked by this build, it's not now. It's later when the Nexus is down, the power's up, just like we saw previously. So he takes the opportunity to go a double Evolution Chamber, and he's got a pretty decent drone count across these 2 bases. 45 drones across 2 is fine. And he's adding on a couple of units here, probably for scouting, just to see and put a bit of pressure on this base. And then I would imagine, depending on if he wants to pressure this base or not, will most likely be drones from this.
Yeah, you're right in the sense that his build is way more streamlined, right, compared to how it was in game number 1. And notably, he's going to get the denial here.
Yeah, nice slowdown. Oh, sentries!
Oh, what a move there. Actually, keeping some of those Zerglings back to actually get the wraparound. Yep. That was a great move by Stephano.
And the probe. Sentries get out. Not going to beat the Zealots, so no point staying. Excellent. 20 more Lings. Pressure's going to increase. He says, all right, I just killed like 4 sentries, dude.
You can't let that happen as the Protoss here. That's, I guess, Stephano already anticipated the weakness of this build so quickly from game to game.
Yep, he's going to go in again, and he's going to pick off these units, most likely. Even with the +1 attack not too far away from finishing, neither is the Carapace, but he's going to put pressure on, and he's probably going to pick off these units.
Yeah, he could do. There's quite a few Zealots, +1 finishing up at the most opportunistic time. That's really going to help if he wants to push on forwards.
Where is he going with his Lings? He's dancing around a little bit here. Maybe towards the back?
I guess he's not going to do anything.
I guess he's looking for a probe out on the map.
Yeah.
You know, pull the rocks down on the back, maybe, the debris, and also have a look around.
Yeah, maybe.
By the way, the drone count, or probe count, is 46 again. Ideal for 2 base saturation. That means there are 16 probes in each mineral line, and there are 3 in each assimilator, and it adds up to a total of 46. Ideal saturation, which gives you the best income, but also enables you to spend the rest of your supply on army, which is what Welmu's doing. But he will be going up against 1-1 Lings with no splash damage here. The force fields are going to be crucial, and the Zealot swipes are going to be key.
9 gateways off of this position here now. That's a lot, but these Lings are just going to go straight for the counter. I mean, they have an option. They could go straight for the back of this army if he moves forwards, or he could go for the counterattack, whichever he chooses.
Well, he could do both. He could counterattack and also defend. I think he might try that. We'll see, because he's got a lot of Lings out. He knows his push is coming. He knows that the build he was playing against, this attack would be around this time. He's got 4 spines up already. He can reposition them around his 3rd base. He's trying to add on 2 more to this left flank, which I did describe as a very, very important part of this map here for Protoss to attack into. Get the best benefit with force fields.
Yeah, those rocks aren't dying off too quickly, so it buys him a little bit of time because it's so sentry heavy. He's going for the space control. The way in which the base is actually laid out here for Stephano might work against him because of how easy it is now to lock that down. But at the same time, a lot of Lings going for the counterattack, being held off by Zealots. Pylon goes down, underpowering the cannon as well as those gateways. But the push at the front here, it's not really doing a whole lot. He doesn't have firepower, just control of space, and it's not working out in the end.
There were too many spines.
Yeah.
Roach is popping out from the hatcheries. He's also having to warp in units to defend his 3rd Nexus. Stephano weighs up the situation, says, all right, this is fine. What are you stressing about, commentators? I'm going to kill his 3rd, and I'm going to defend that. What do you want about? This is easy. This game is too easy for me. I retired because it was too easy. You see this? Like, kill the Nexus, no problem, you know? No problem. You see this? Stephano.
You've got me in a calm state of mind now. I'm like,
fine, man.
oh, Nexus died.
No, it's fine. Shh.
Right.
Everyone, shh. Be quiet.
Just chill.
Don't clap for me. I don't need it. I've already won this. Shh. I'm good with the round of 16. No problem.
I think it's amazing that he can actually just make these decisions.
It's fun, man. I just make every decision perfectly. Or at least today.
He's doing all right.
This is where Stephano says, well, I make a lot of stupid mistakes outside of the game. I've done a lot of stupid things.
As long as they're in the game, it's okay.
I've got a tattoo on my leg that says I'm hard. Like, I've made some really stupid mistakes in my life. But inside the game, I'm pretty good. And as you can see, he's going to have 2-2 completed now. He's on his 3 bases. He's going to get his Swarm Host on the go. He's up to high, which means he can start through 3, add Vipers in. He's really hurt Welmu. Really, really hurt him.
Yeah.
Welmu dedicates all his tech to this attack. He doesn't have any splash damage. He doesn't have the Robo down at all. I mean, he's just so far behind at this point. This is a very difficult position to be in. He's got a decent army, but it's a very basic army.
Yeah. All his power is in sentries, and when you're relying totally on force fields to hold on, yes, you might be able to continually force field areas, but you're not really going to win the war in the end, because now the Locusts are going to start flooding in.
Oh my god. Stephano is using Swarm Host on the other side of the map.
I know.
In an aggressive state of mind.
This is crazy. And he has to put... Oh, okay. So those get force fielded off. He's going to try and catch some of those sentries, but the Locusts and the Roaches on this left-hand side are doing good.
Yeah, as much as a surprise it is for anyone to see Stephano using Swarm Host aggressively,
Dun, dun, dun.
he says, all right, you're way too far behind. There is no way you're going to have out Colossus anytime. You're barely going to have out an Observer to stop this.
Where are these guys going? I guess they're going for a little detour around the area, but these Locusts doing well. I mean, any force fields that he wants to throw down now, it's just...
This is very risky
delaying
from
the
Stephano,
inevitable.
but he just wants to try to finish this now. If he can break this before any high-tech units come out for Welmu. But a Dark Shrine's finishing up. That does leave Stephano a little bit exposed. There's no way to retreat with the Swarm Host if a mistake happens or in a bad fight takes place. DTs can be dangerous. I think there's a Warp Prism on the map too. So if Welmu's able to hold this 3rd base, get Colossus out, get DTs in the mix, I think you may be surprised here a little bit, Stephano.
Yeah, the Lings are actually just going to go straight round. Oh, those Dark Templar do actually bump into those Lings, but he's going to go straight for the counter.
This is a nice strategical move here.
Yeah.
Get the Lings in the main base, drag the army to come back and defend, and then really launch the siege on this 3rd.
It's going to be so difficult for him to hold on against, and he's going to be relying entirely on these Dark Templars
These
to really carry
DTs are going to
him.
do a lot, by the way.
Yeah, they are. I mean, there's no spores, no spore, and no spore. So that's not the best position for Stephano to be in, but all he has to do is morph in some Overseers and then eventually clean it up. He's doing so much damage over the other side.
Stephano has almost stopped playing. You know when you're winning a game of StarCraft and then you're just like, yeah, I've won.
Yeah.
And you kind of stop playing. He didn't expand again. He was only on 3 bases. He just didn't really think about this option as a Dark Templar being a threat to him. He's morphed in Spores and Overseers and stuff. Welmu technically still has 3 Nexus. Whether he has the pros for the Nexus or not, that's another case. He's actually got 4 Nexus. I guess he's surrendering the 3rd one on the left-hand side.
Oh, Colossus. Hi. He's going to help out a little bit, I guess. At least cleaning up those Lings. And he did do. He actually saved his main pretty much. Saved his natural pretty much. And with that Nexus going over on the right-hand side, this is still a strange game.
It's almost... I mean, if you think this almost on the left-hand side, it's going to be very hard to break these. The +2 attack is going to be squeezed out there. Just, maybe? Should just finish, yeah.
Did it finish?
Yeah.
Okay.
But for Welmu, on a single Colossus, and has also lost his Colossus tech, by the way, Stephano did target that down to make sure there's no more Colossus in this game. You can't really stop these Swarm Hosts. He's going to try and flank, maybe, but he's been spotted. That was a nice waypoint of Locust there from Stephano to maybe anticipate a move like that.
Really good anticipation. You're right. The Warp Prism gets pushed away, and there is a Stargate on the way as well. He's actually just going to go for a full counter. Are there any Swarm Hosts at the back?
No, there's nothing to defend at home. There's only these Lings, and it's the Swarm Hosts aggressively.
All right.
It is a very weird scenario to be in, this right now.
There were some Archons that were being morphed in just then, right?
And they got destroyed by the Lings straight away.
Oh, okay. Oh, right, okay.
There's a lot of Lings, but there is also a lot of force fields in a Colossus.
Oh, no, no. Please, no. Oh,
These Lings are like, oh, no.
No!
Oh, that's not good.
Oh, he cancels the hatchery to get them out, but...
So Welmu's fighting hard in this game.
Yeah.
Definitely think Stephano got a little bit complacent here, but the Swarm Hosts are coming back to help out.
Void Ray could help. Wait, Void Ray could help. Does he... He doesn't really have... Oh, okay. So you need to deal with the Queens. And then Void Ray could help. Recalls back. Save this expansion.
Now Stephano, bringing the army back, is going to move out himself once again.
Where did the Swarm... Oh, okay, here they are.
I think like a Mulus switch would just win the game instantly at this point.
He has no army.
Yeah, Welmu is struggling in this game. He's lost a lot of income. He's also, Stephano seems to be dedicating a couple of these swarm hosts over.
Dedicating is a word for it, yeah. And now all the locusts pop out right on top of this Colossus. Ooh. And, hey, good force fields.
Still, if a Spire was put down, it would instantly win the game.
Yeah.
It's like the in Age of Empires, is it the Great Wonder or something?
The Wonders, yeah.
The Wonders or whatever that building was. It had a countdown till you win the game.
Those were interesting.
Yeah, like, I built one. Aha! In 20 minutes, I'm going to win.
Take that.
No matter what you do, in 20 minutes, I'm going to win.
To be fair, they were really expensive, but they worked.
Sometimes.
Yeah. It's quite a cool way to win.
And that would be the Spire effect in this game. With the amount of gas that Stephano has, there's just no way that he could deal with it. I mean, Welmu's having trouble dealing with the Zerglings and Roaches, let alone thinking about Mutalisk. But Stephano is leading this game. He's got triple the supply of his opponent. He's flooding through, and it looks like he will be able to tie this series up. And we should be going to game number 3 here.
There you go. GG. Well timed out there, Sean. Well timed out.
I worked on my outro timings a lot in the off-season.
Ah, okay. You need a month for that.
What I did.
All right, well, game number 2 goes to Stephano, tying it up 1 apiece. A crazy, crazy game there on King Sejon Station. But Stephano is able to eke it out.
Yeah, just read into Welmu's build. Identified it very early on. As mentioned, he had Overlords, seeing and scouting everything, so he knew exactly what he's going up against. And then was like, all right, well, if you're doing this, the best way for me to approach it is to do this. And so he did, and he landed himself in an advantageous position. Going on to the next map, though, is, not favorable by a lot of Zerg players, especially in last season. It's Habitation Station that has the 2 gold bases in the middle, and we saw time after time after time last season, Zerg players die a lot on this map.
Yeah. Not the most preferable map, you're right. There was a lot of gold bases being taken early by Protosses, a lot of immortal pushes coming out from that. And even then, even if they don't actually kill you off right out with that, and it's still a scary spot to play against. They almost always got a base at least. So
good luck stopping Swarm Host on here, though. I mean, every single map seems to be a good Swarm Host map, right? Especially for stuff on every map's fine.
Yeah, it doesn't really matter.
So we'll see how this is going to play. I think the one map that isn't as good is Altazine, but everything else seems fine.
Yeah.
But either way, this is going to be a good one to see what Welmu's going to approach the series with again. Because if we look at Welmu's approach to playing Stephano, and I think that Welmu had in the back of his mind entering today's group that I will most likely have to play against Stephano in the winners or losers match, or in the final match, somewhere today. His approach is this style that we've seen Nanewell use in the past, we've seen a lot of Korean players use, is this fake kind of nexus into this attack. Does he do that again here? This can be used here. Does he try to play to the map a little bit more and try to take that gold base fast? Does he just play a normal game from that gold base? Does he try an immortal attack from that gold base? Does he try something crazy like double Stargate from the gold base? I've seen a couple of players do. So, a couple of options, but it's up to Welmu right now to kind of make the right one and execute it right.
And I can't believe of all things that Welmu could say in chat, he says, let's roll.
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 That... I think for everyone watching this right now, and I do know that a lot of people want to see Stephano win, I also think there may be the same amount of people wanting to see a Welmu phone call interview on Skype.
That's true.
If we had a vote for who had the best Skype calls last season, I think it would be Bling, number 1.
Yes, of course.
Certainly, for one individual. And then Welmu, probably number 2. And even when Welmu attended the live studio here, everyone was like, woohoo, he won.
Yeah.
Well done, but more importantly, the interview.
It's true. It really is. It really is true. All right. Well, game number 3 is loading up now on Habitation Station. And it's only one map now. Stands between one of these guys and the round of 16, which will have our live shows. And then you can also come to the live shows, and it'd be great. And you can meet Welmu, and you can hear him roll his R's, or you can meet Stephano, whichever way it goes down.
And
great.
I think it's quite important for you to attend the live event this season because we don't know if Stephano's going to retire again or not. And
That's
if he makes it, this could be your last opportunity to grab him.
Imagine if you were there when Stephano retired for the 2nd time. Just imagine that. There you go. All right, let's jump into it. Game number 3. As we have Habitation Station, our map. Spawning up to the top left-hand corner, it is Stephano representing Evil Geniuses. And up to the top right-hand corner, changing it up a little bit here in this game, it is NRS Welmu.
He could cannon rush from here.
Yeah.
Could. especially because Stephano's been opening up hatch first every single game. It is a risk, but that is the first available threat to Stephano's series hit from Welmu. Would be a cannon rush.
If I can recall correctly, though, from the from the previous times we've seen Stephano, I don't think I can recall too many times where he got killed off by cannon rushes. I thought he was pretty good against it. I mean, it's been a long time since I've seen that, but yeah, there you go. I don't know. It could happen. Okay. Aw, Welmu with his sad face. All right, so a little bit of lag for Stephano here. 1, 2, oh, okay, he's testing out the lag.
1, 2, 1, 2.
This is the weirdest mic check I've ever witnessed, but there you go. It's a lag test. Thanks, Stephano. Are you preferring anybody here in this game? Do you think that Stephano Swarmhost will win out Habitation Station?
I edge Welmu a little bit.
Uh-huh.
The map favors him a little bit more.
Oh. What?
Welmu.
He transferred the lag.
Stephano.
Oh, sorry. Go on, apologize, Stephano. Apologize.
Doesn't apologize to anyone.
No, I guess not.
It's Stephano here.
It's just, oh.
This is a guy that kicked Lindsay Spore in the head.
I'm under the impression he probably apologized.
No, wait,
after.
was that Lindsay Spore? No, it wasn't. I think it was
Lauren Lease.
Lauren Lease.
That's the one.
He kicked Lauren Lease in the head, and Stephano doesn't say sorry.
He just walked away. He was like...
He walked away, chugged on his champagne after winning NASL Season 3, and then ran off on Morgan, the producer's back.
Oh, yeah, he did. I remember that picture. That was a really good picture. Whoever took that, you were a good photographer.
Looks like Welmu was gone, though. He was actually having some issues at the start of the day today, which did delay Welmu just a little bit, and it looks like it has occurred once again. So we will have to recover this game.
GG.
And rehost it. That is not a victory for Stephano. It is just the victory screen after a disconnect happens. We all host up again and see what's going to happen.
Great. I like StarCraft. StarCraft's good. We're going to get another game of StarCraft on the way for you guys in just a little bit between Stephano and Welmu. But as you mentioned, Welmu did have some problems at the beginning. We had a little bit of a delay.
Yeah.
But he'll be back in shortly.
Do you favor Stephano then? If I favor Welmu, is this how we're working this season?
I guess that's this season's thing.
All right.
But then it comes to like, I don't know, some really, really one-sided match and you just pick the favorite. I'm like, oh.
It's like I don't want to. It's like Vortex versus me, and I'm like, I pick Vortex. You're like,
I guess I'd
pick me.
No, I guess that'd be a win-win. Well, I don't know. Like I'm backing my colleague here, so it'd be okay. Like that's show compassion and happiness. All right, we're in the recover game. Now, I guess this is going to be season's thing. I'm going with Stephano.
You know Stephano overall. I've been thinking about this a little bit.
Yeah.
You know, why is he playing in Premier again? And I think, and I think this is like maybe I'm going wild. Maybe I'm just thinking and making these things up. But you know how when he retired in Season 2 last year, he wanted to retire on a high.
Yeah.
Remember that he said to everyone that, you know, I'm going to work my backside off to win Season 2, and then I'm going to finish as the best. I am Stephano, I'm the best, this is how I'm going to leave. And he lost, right? Do you think, now that, you know, he has retired, and he is performing better again because he's got his Swarm host style to work,
yeah.
Do you think that he's like, you know what? I'm going to get that win I promised myself. I'm going to get that extra.
Do you think he doesn't feel closure? Is that what you're saying? Like he needs closure?
Yes.
Maybe.
I think it is. I think that's the perfect way to describe it. I think he may need closure on StarCraft, and he hasn't got it yet.
Because the way in which we were all here, like we were actually there when it happened, and we, you know, watched the guy and stuff like that. There was no satisfaction in his face. There was no.
He didn't finish building his ultimate plan. He didn't finish his Swarm host
plan.
He was using Swarm host then.
He was, yeah. I remember.
He was trying to make them work against Terran, which is why the reason he lost versus Lucifron, playing Roach Hydra into Swarm host. He now has gone back to playing a normal style against Terran. Maybe he has come back for closure. Maybe this is more than the Naked Eye sees, which is just a guy playing for a bit of fun in his spare time, but somehow playing in Challenger and Premier.
I really hoped you were going to say more than meets the eye, but... Darn.
No. And then I think he's always got, and I may be seeing through Stephano.
Okay.
He has the fallback plan, where if this plan doesn't work, he's like, I was retired anyway. I was just playing for fun.
Ha ha ha.
Ha, ha, ha.
Joke's on you
I
guys.
wasn't trying my hardest to try and win this tournament to get closure for myself. Ha ha. I think I may have.
Isn't he also, like, he's studying medicine, right?
Yeah.
That's the scariest idea, having
And
Stephano
if you
as a
think about
doctor.
it,
Can he
summer's coming up,
Yeah.
which players like Vortex and other students do really well over the summer.
Yeah,
because
they do. Oops.
And Stephano may be coming for a couple of wins.
Could be. Summer could work out well for Stephano.
Or it might be...
Oh, there's a pylon on the bottom of the ramp. Sorry, I didn't realize that was there until just now, but there you go.
What is this?
I don't know. I guess it's a very kind of prolonged cannon. This is... What?
What is he going to wall in Stephano with a forge down here?
It's a gateway. It's a gateway. No, it's a
What?
forge.
What is this?
Welmu. All right, whilst
He's
we
going
were...
to... Okay, so this is really weird. I have never seen this.
No. It's actually going to wall in fully, but he needs high ground vision, right? Like...
Sure.
It's not...
Sure.
He needs to get in there. Like, he doesn't have vision. What's this achieving? Is he going to push his way through?
He can build a cannon here. All right, so he can build a cannon on the left-hand side.
Does it push
then
through?
the cannon builds his own kills his own pylon to then get up to then cannon on the higher ground.
Are you... What?
Cannon
He
left-hand...
pushes through.
Cannon left-hand side.
There you go.
Okay.
Cheeky.
I didn't think he'd push through. I thought he'd kill his own pylon or something.
I
Okay.
was like-
Whatever the case, he's in.
Yeah, he's in.
And Stephano has no idea because
this is
the
bizarre.
second overlord, first of all, is going all the way across.
He's going to see nothing. What's he...
Yeah, he knows he's being cannon rushed right now.
Yeah.
Um,
Wait, no. Does he?
yes,
Really?
Yes, because he sees nothing. He sees no...
But there's a pylon there. Okay, now he brings the lings down. He's like, what's going on?
Yeah.
But this is
He knows
utterly-
he's being cannon rushed. This is weird.
Oh, well, he needs to deal with that cannon. Look, it's not in the range. Okay, that one is.
Well, this is interesting.
This is very...
I've never seen this before. This is definitely a different...
And because of the pylon placements, because it's going to be difficult for the queens to get around if he adds on more cannons, it's going to be really, really irritating. Like, for queens to even clean this up. You better
If
keep
he
that
kills
probe
that
alive,
probe-
buddy. You better keep that probe alive.
Yeah.
All right, that's the second cannon.
Wow. I'm just in astonishment to see if this is going to work. I mean, there's 3 cannons now.
The only option from here, though, is if this doesn't work, is like... Sorry, if this does work, if this kills off the natural for Stephano, he can't leave his main because it's fully walled off. Sorry, the natural because it's fully walled. So he has to, like, Nidus or something?
Well, he's just going to try and kill it no matter what.
Yeah. Oh,
He goes down and
is
is like, what?
what is,
He goes down and is like, what?
That's the first he sees of that.
You're joking.
He is.
The Nexus, the hatchery's dead.
Yeah.
Plan B needs to come out.
It has to be Nidus. There's nothing else because you can't breach.
He's taking double gases.
Or banelings, maybe.
He's taking double gases. This may be Welmu moving into the round of 16 here with a cannon rush, which In Control would be proud of.
Uh-oh. Well, yeah. But it wasn't the cannon rush we were expecting.
No, not at all.
Not at all.
This is... I mean, he's taking double gases, so he can try to climb up in gas, but the thing is from this is Welmu's Nexus is already done. He can build a pylon on the left-hand side and patrol in case there's any... you know, any kind of Nidus, there's nothing can work. I don't see how this can work. I don't see how Stephano can come back from this.
That was the gloating victory march of that probe. He's like, I've done my job. Time to find out what's going on. And he sees all the gas, so he kind of can anticipate the follow-ups. Because I don't see anything else from that. Like, Banelings or Nidus. Like,
so,
base
first of all,
mutant.
if he's going to use Banelings, he has to break through one wall to break down a second wall. Breaking down the first wall to prepare for the second wall, which is on the other side
So it
of the
has to
map,
be Nidus.
is going to be way too long.
Yeah.
It has to be like Nidus or one base almost. Stephano...
Oh, wait, whoa. There was that thing that Starbuck did with the Nidus and the... What's,
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, you know, yes.
Yes.
So, as much as it's a joke, it's definitely... Those are the things.
If he won by swarm hosts, but with this method, that would be the
Yes.
ultimate
Stephano end. Like,
Yes.
So, there's pylons
my
everywhere
God.
inside the main base.
Because he knows what's coming.
There's one thing that could work out is you could Nidus outside of the natural of Welmu, so you don't need to go inside the main base, which is
Yeah.
why he's adding on a second cannon and making a wall.
Uh-huh.
But there's a lot of drones, so if he Niduses, gets queens up there, could spine rush too. Like, there's a couple of things he can do. There's the infestation pit.
All right, well, here we go.
Here we go. Stephano, all right. Somehow, some way, he doesn't build a Nidus. He breaks out the contain, gets the 3 bases, and builds the ultimate army.
God, that would be so good. I hope this happens.
Imagine that.
Oh.
Imagine that.
Please, please,
There it
Stephano. There's the Nidus. All right.
Okay, so the way you lose to this if you're Welmu is, first of all, if you let the Nexus, not Nexus, sorry, the Nidus Worm complete inside the main base.
Yeah.
You don't need detection if it's just on the natural. You can work around it. You can buy time. You can work around it. If it lands in your main and you start losing your economy, then you're in trouble. So I still can't believe this is happening.
This is weird.
Yeah, this is.
I mean, I said a game or two back was, that's kind of weird, but this one's really weird, guys. Like, we're not beating around the bush here. Oh, the drone got out.
Oh, he's gonna get the gold base. That was nice. He took the tanking damage from the cannons. That was nice. That was pretty nice.
He took that gold base.
All
And he
right.
sees it with a Hostnet Phoenix.
All right, here we go,
It's kinda sad.
Stephano. How are you going to make this work, Sonny? You shouldn't be able to get inside the main base. You might be able to siege outside the natural, but 3 cannons and a lot of units.
And he did see the infestation pit. I mean, he kind of caught the idea of what was going on anyway, but where's the Nidus Worm? It's
Down
in
on
the
third.
third.
It's outside the natural of Welmu. There is the robotics facility finish, so an observer should begin.
He just moved out with his army.
Yeah, it's okay. It doesn't really matter. He's going to kill the gold base and come back. He can buy time with 4 cannons. There's no Enduring Locust, I don't think. At this point, you don't really have money for it. There's only 3 swarm hosts, so it's a little bit more difficult to break.
Just let him go. Let him
Yeah,
free.
just 2 force fields. Just going to hold on. He's got cannons coming in. He'll kill the gold, come back, find the thingy-majig, and come kill it.
The thingy-majig.
The Nidus Worm.
Oh, right, yeah.
Robotics be on the way. Colossus being built.
Yeah, a good start from Welmu and possibly a good end very soon. As he's solidifying this defense. He's got his Warp Prism on the way, and that's going to really cause more pain.
Yeah, that'll just drop anything inside the main base here while he builds up towards Colossus to break out.
Yeah.
This reminds me a lot of the olden days in StarCraft when people like TLO would do 2-base Nidus Worm Swarm Host play. I remember Naniwa losing to TLO in DreamHack with this style because he couldn't get out Colossus in time off 2-base and died eventually.
Yeah, I remember that. That was brutal. And then didn't he do it again in WCS? Or attempted to, and then Naniwa actually beat it?
Naniwa beat it in the rematch in the round of 8.
Yeah, and it was on Belshir Vestige.
I got that memory.
We're on top of things. All right. Well, Welmu tried to poke at the front of this expansion. Oh, sorry, main base. It's not an expansion. But Stephano's setting himself up outside and chilling out here. But he's going to get pushed away very soon. Run! Run! Okay, good. Sick as commentary.
Yeah, this is kind of difficult for Stephano. I mean, he's in a position where he's losing badly, and he's trying to figure out a way to be able to not have to play another game today. Like that is Stephano. Like, I'd rather just win in 2 rather than 3.
Yeah.
I'm known for not really practicing and playing the game a lot. I just want to kind of go through already. But that's not going to be the case. If he's going to win this game, it would actually have to be a 2-hour game.
Oh, yeah.
Look at the clock. It's 13 minutes. If Stephano wins his game, it would actually need to be in 2 hours. It would take a very long time for him to build up the right army, to get the right economy, to take it to the right part of the game to win.
With how well Welmu is set up.
Welmu is in a beautiful position. He's taken the 3rd base as Stephano takes his natural. So imagine you're a Zerg right now. You've gone spawn and pull, and you're taking your hatch right now on the natural. Then all of a sudden, the Protoss has 2 bases. He's about to take the gold. Like, it doesn't really compute. So Welmu's in a beautiful position. He's got that Warp Prism somewhere threatening. He's got the Dark Shrine on the way nice and early to get in there to really tickle Stephano's insides.
And he's just cruising away with this, completely cruising. Dark Shrine being added on, Charge being added on, +1 weapons being added on. Everything for Welmu is hunky-dory and Welmu.
I think this is my TEFL versus MVP game from Season 1 or Season 2 a long time ago.
Sean, don't do it.
Where if Stephano wins this, I would eat a hat. And, I did eat one last time.
I remember. I
did eat it.
It was gross.
And I would eat another one if Stephano was somehow to win this. This is insane if he was to win this. This would be the biggest comeback of all time.
Oh, yeah.
Of all
time.
Like,
I mean,
MVP's comeback was pretty insane.
Yes, it was.
From like 4 SCVs versus 50 drones. Yes, it was 4 SCVs versus like 50 drones.
Yeah.
He came back to win the game, as MVP would. If Stephano was to be able to do that...
How did he get up to Hive? Sorry, go on.
Stephano just...
It's Stephano.
He does what he wants. He's got Swarm Hosts, he saves money. Swarm Hosts... If Swarm Hosts could have a real job outside of StarCraft, the Swarm Host would be an accountant. Let's just put it that way.
Yeah, number crunching, man.
Number crunching, saving pennies.
Saving a lot of pennies, let's be honest. Oh, DTs. Okay.
Yeah, they're going to get in, and there's not really any detection here.
Yeah, pushing forwards. And Dark Templar's doing a lot. Transfuses to keep everything alive. Force fields to zone out some of those queens. And this is not looking great. Actually, a good pull forwards there. He's actually going to push this back. Oh, God.
No, it's going to be a 2-hour game. It's going to be 2 hours. Don't worry.
Buckle up, guys.
Yeah. All Welmu just needs to do is contain Stephano and do not ever let Stephano get to 3 bases.
No,
because he's
don't.
already gone up to 12 Swarm Hosts. And Stephano is in a position where mathematically, in StarCraft, this game doesn't make sense.
Yes.
Like, it doesn't make sense.
Only accountants can work it out. There you go.
Only an accountant could work this one out. It doesn't make sense if Stephano was to somehow win this. So this is one to watch.
At least, if we give Welmu the benefit of the doubt, his Stargate transitions on quickly, and he's going to have a much easier time of getting a really nice fleet up before Stephano can do anything.
He's on 4 base versus 2 Zerg. Stephano is crawling down now with his Swarmos to take the 3rd. And remember when we saw Stephano play against Nurture on this map earlier, despite it being a different matchup, how efficient the Swarmos were in this sole position. They can defend all 4 bases from the natural. Like, that's pretty insane to think about. So if Stephano starts to get up towards his 3rd, which he's spreading creep to do so, this game, like I said, if he's going to win, it's going to take a long time. But we are going to see Welmu just abuse what he can and exploit where he can, which is mine the map, get an amazing economy, get a high drone count or probe count. He's at 72, and just build anything, and a lot of it. You don't need to be worried about being attacked. You don't need to have any units. That's why he's low in supply, by the way. I'm sure he'd be much, much higher if he would or wanted to. He doesn't need to worry about being defensive. Stephano is not going anywhere. He's not crossing the halfway line until the hour mark in this game.
And the Stalkers are continuing to just pose a threat at the 3rd base. We have a big Zealot warp in as well in the main, just to try and kill off any scrap of economy across these 2 bases. But the main is pretty much mined down. So he's going to be stuck to 1 base.
And Welmu is going to obviously use his Stalkers nicely on this left-hand side, but keep that Warp Prism alive to just chuck a couple of minerals here and there. You don't need minerals as much as you do gas in this scenario, of course, so throw some Zealots here, throw some Zealots there. Viper's ready to pull that Warp Prism in, by the way.
Yep.
They're ready.
Nom, nom, nom.
But there is another Warp Prism down south. Here come all the upgrades for Welmu, and he should be starting that +1 attack if he didn't already for the air. And he's making a good mix of an army which wasn't stopped in game number 1 today. And it will not be stopped in game number 2. Spire is earlier. So Stephano does realize that's probably where Welmu's going to head towards without knowing exactly
and I think
where he's going.
He got full.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, he saw all of that with an Overseer.
Oh, there's a 3rd base stopped again. So back to 2 bases for Stephano.
Yeah, and this was his tactic during Overgrowth as well. You know, just have a clump of Stalkers, try and deny bases where they can. The Blink upgrade's going to help out a lot against the Locust. So he's just, you know, constantly moving forwards with that mobility factor. And actually, look at this. It's just straight to Void Rays compared to more Tempests than not. So
yeah, Void Rays is good. I mean, think about if he was... It's been scouted, and if Tempest were to be the option, which the Fleet Beacon's been seen, and in Stephano's mind... Tempests are being built.
Yes,
I must build Corruptors to stop this again. And in Welmu's mind, he's like, all right, well, this kid's seen me going for this. He probably thinks I'm going Tempest. Let me just go Void Rays first this time, and I'm just going to walk over him. There is no way, if you think at the units or look at the units tab, if Welmu flew into the main base with 10, 16 Void Rays, what is there to stop it? 5 Queens?
Not much. Not
There's
much
how
at
many
all.
spore crawlers? Like, none? None. So
Yeah.
there's only 5 Queens of Anti-Air in this game. Spire is done, but there's not that much money, obviously, because he's on 2 bases. This is a slow and painful death for Stephano.
Well, it is. There's a few spore crawlers being added now in the middle of the map, and maybe if this observer sticks around, it will get picked off. But, I mean, Welmu has full control of the map. He has full control of the bases on his side. He has full control of the air. He's going to move through into the main base, as you mentioned before, and he even has the option to recall out if he needs it.
Nah, he won't need that.
No.
He won't need that. He's
not.
actually just going to come in and probably end the game. There's really not much Stephano can do here. So Stephano drags this one out. A little bit painful for both players here. Stephano's probably having a whale of a time.
He's
probably,
taking foremost, man.
probably listening to the Rolling Stones, having a great time, messing around with the waypoints that Swarmers can go this way, they can go that way. I can adopt this unit, I can adopt that one. But, you know, overall, this army's not stopped.
And Zealot's being walked in at the natural too, right next to the Swarm hosts, but they're focusing their attention on the middle of the map whilst the Void Rays completely begin to obliterate everything in the main base, even a few Stalkers down here. Technically, Stephano was trying to hold on against all of this, but there's nothing to detect the DTs. So he's going to get killed off. Void Rays trying to do what they can. All the transfuse energy has been expended. Extra reinforcing Tempests move in for the kills. And Welmu's looked strong. Well played.
Well played, Welmu. You are first place
Never saw
finisher
that.
in today's group. And again, Welmu makes another appearance in the round of 16 and will be coming once again to Germany. He got top 8 in Season 1. He played very well in Season 1. It was top 3 non-Korean finish alongside Vortex and Snoot. And he finds himself in top 16, ready to rock and roll once again.
And as Stephano said at the very end there, he'd never seen that, and we were certainly a little bit blindsided by that as well. That was cool by Welmu. So 4-1 in total. People were predicting a 4-0, but Stephano gave him a little bit of a run for his money.
He definitely did, which means now Stephano drops down to the final game of today's group, where he will play up against the winner of either Nurtio or the Muslim.
All right, so 2 more series left today, but I believe after the break, we're going to have a call with Welmu.
Yes, we should be doing that.
Yes, great stuff. All right, so join us after the break, guys, when we shall hear from the Finnish Phenom moving on to the round 16, Mr. NRS Welmu.